This is 5 and 10 from Skywatch TV for Friday, May 3rd, 2024. 5 things you need to know for this week. The 5 big stories of the week are Friday 5 as we head into the weekend. Topic number 5 this week, campus chaos. Pro-Hamas protests all over college campuses all across the country, from New York to California this week. Police called in on a number of campuses to put down the protests, to clear out the encampments and so forth. Led to some really bizarre scenes in some of these colleges. For example, a student leader at Columbia University demanding that the college guarantee food and water deliveries to the students who'd taken over one of the campus buildings. We're paying for food service. It doesn't mean they need to deliver it to you when you illegally occupy and vandalize school property. At Southern Cal, the school decided to deal with the protests by canceling graduation exercises for fear that they couldn't keep students and their families safe. Or at UCLA, where activists declared the campus a liberated zone and refusing entries for students not affiliated with the pro-Gaza protest. If you don't have a special wristband on, you're not allowed into the liberated zone. And then they posted notices earlier this week that one of the protesters ostensibly has a potentially fatal banana allergy. So they not only declared it a liberated zone, they declared it a banana-free zone, which then motivated counter-protesters to arrive with bunches of bananas the following day. And they were described, and I quote, as waving bananas around like settlers waving machine guns. The sense of entitlement is strong with this one. University of Washington, where the pro-Hamas encampment scheduled for last week was canceled because the protest leadership was too white. Now, we can laugh at these kids, but the fact is there is an ugly anti-Semitic thread running behind, connecting all of these, in fact. And as we noted with the Columbia protest, where students linked arms and forced Jewish students away from the campus, is very reminiscent of 1938 Germany. And this is disturbing. Topic number 4, Israel. The reports of a ceasefire deal continue coming out of Cairo, where the Egyptians are trying to mediate a deal between Hamas and Israel. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken visited Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel today to communicate the United States, objection to a planned military operation in Rafah, the remaining city that is still harboring about a battalion of Hamas fighters. Netanyahu made clear to Blinken that he would not accept any ceasefire deal that includes an agreement to end the war before this Rafah operation. They want to crush Hamas and its military wing. Now, there are some reports that Hamas is fleeing Gaza and is setting up shop in other cities inside Israel, like Hebron for one. But Netanyahu said that Israel sees the importance of this operation in Rafah. Again, concluding the war without the destruction of Hamas is essentially a victory for Hamas. This week, also, CBS reporting that President Biden considering offering safe haven to Palestinian Arabs trying to get out of Gaza. Various benefits would be included in this that might eventually lead to permanent residency and even U.S. citizenship. Now, this would pertain, according to CBS, only to certain Palestinian Arabs who already have relatives in the United States or immediate family members. This remains to be seen, however, whether this can be coordinated with Egypt, who would be responsible for screening the Palestinian Arabs who wanted to emigrate to the United States. Topic number 3 this week, Russia and Ukraine. After the passage of the additional $60 billion in aid for Ukraine, we're getting some stories out of the country that are not boding well for the future of the war there as far as Ukraine is concerned. They were forced to withdraw the main battle tanks supplied by the United States, the M1A1 Abrams, from the front lines because they have been proven vulnerable to relatively cheap kamikaze drones. So too the Challenger tanks sent by the United Kingdom and the Leopards sent by Germany. In January, in fact, it was reported that all of the 18 Leopard 2 tanks supplied by the Germans were either broken or destroyed. And now we're learning that Russia is actually setting up a display of vehicles captured, NATO vehicles captured from the battlefield in Ukraine. Trophy weapons, in other words. This month-long exhibit kicked off Wednesday, May 1st, at the Victory Park in Moscow. They'll be featured alongside the capital's annual Red Square Victory Day Parade. That's coming up May 9th, where Russia celebrates World War II's victory over Nazi Germany. This display will feature an array of armored vehicles captured from the West, including those Leopard main battle tanks, an American Bradley infantry fighting vehicle, and just arrived in Moscow, an M1A1 Abrams main battle tank. Again, not a good look. Topic number 2, gender wars. This week, an appeals court in Virginia ruled that state health care plans must cover gender-affirming surgeries, what you and I might consider genital mutilation. U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fourth Circuit ruled Monday that North Carolina's and West Virginia's denial of some health care claims via government insurance for transgender people was discriminatory. We'll see. I'm sure this will be appealed, may wind up in the Supreme Court. Meanwhile, attorneys general in 8 Republican states are suing the Biden administration over changes to Title IX guidelines. Title IX is the government law, or the congressional legislation passed years ago, decades ago, that protects women against discrimination. Any school that accepts federal funding has to provide equal access, athletics, academics, and so forth, to women. That's now been redefined. It's no longer discrimination based on sex, but on gender identity, which essentially mandates allowing boys who say they're girls into women's restrooms and changing rooms. This rule change not only promoting but forcing transgender ideology on federally funded educational institutions. Attorneys general from Texas, Kentucky, Tennessee, Indiana, Ohio, West Virginia, and Virginia challenging the changes in court, and I suspect there may be other Republican-led states that sign on to one or both of these lawsuits. Coming up, not ready for the road. More evidence that EVs are just not catching on. That's ahead on the Friday Five.
We want to make sure that you know how you can get your copies of both of these new works in the Nearing Midnight and Hereafter exclusive offer. This amazing offer includes Nearing Midnight as It Was in the Days of Lot by the legendary Terry James, that explores in detail through the prism of God's Word the potential for nuclear war to break out at any moment. How the entire world is facing the imminency of a dictatorial digital monetary system. Why Mother Earth worship in the form of climate change insanity is being forced upon humanity. How the entities of Ephesians 6:12 will establish control through a new world order, and the blessed hope believers have in the return of the Messiah. Also included in this special offer is Jonathan Brentner's Hereafter. It's far better than you can imagine. This beautifully written new masterpiece will forever change the way that you view the afterlife. You will experience the anticipation of the jubilant reunion and celebrations in heaven that believers will partake in after this current life. Broaden your understanding of heaven and the start of eternity. You'll also learn the answers to difficult questions like, how will we experience and perceive time once in heaven? What will our emotions be like? What will our heavenly bodies be like? Will we have supernatural powers? And so much more. But we're just getting started. Also included is Jonathan Brentner's best-selling book, Triumph of the Redeemed. In this fascinating work, Jonathan helps you grasp onto the eternal perspective during life's perilous circumstances, the new earth, and so much more. This incredible offer also includes The Coming Judgments on DVD, where Terry James and Pete Garcia delve into great detail on the seal, trumpets, and bowl judgments listed in the book of Revelation. Also included is Jonathan Brentner's presentation entitled Hope in the Rapture. You'll be shocked when you find out why the Thessalonians were grief-stricken regarding the rapture upon receiving the Apostle Paul's first letter, and how you can be free from this very same trap. Sold separately, these items hold a retail value of nearly $90. Yours now for your donation of only $45, which includes free shipping to all U.S. orders. So don't delay. You can scan the QR code on your screen right now using the camera app on your phone for instant access to this exclusive offer. You can also visit us at skywatchtvstore.com or call 1-844-750-4985 and ask for the Nearing Midnight and Hereafter exclusive offer right now.
Topic number one today, EVs not really succeeding the way the government would like them to. Ford reporting that its electric vehicle division lost $1.3 billion with a B, $1.3 billion in the first quarter of this year. That adds up to about a loss of $132,000 for each one of the 10,000 EVs Ford sold in the first quarter. A loss of $132,000 per vehicle. What are people paying for these things? How much would Ford have to charge to make a profit, and would anybody buy one if they were actually profitable? Sales of Ford EVs dropped by 20% compared to last year, year over year, and revenue dropped 84% to about $100 million, which Ford attributed mostly to price cuts in the industry. Tesla dropping its prices, other manufacturers having to follow suit in order to get anybody to buy them at all. Ford expects losses on its electric vehicles to hit about $5 billion by the end of 2024. Last year, the Model E division, electric vehicles, lost $4.7 billion on the sale of 116,000 electric vehicles. Obviously, this is not sustainable. And it remains a mystery to me as to why anyone thinks these are green when most electricity here in the United States still produced by coal and natural gas, what's euphemistically referred to as fossil fuels, not really dinosaur bones. Anyway, we note that the Department of Energy, perhaps not coincidentally, has approved a loan in March to a company that is going to reopen the Palisades nuclear power plant in Michigan. This is the first time a shuttered nuclear plant in the U.S. is being reopened. Will others follow? Are we on the verge of a resurgence of nuclear power as states try to meet their green energy goals? Interesting. Again, even so, nuclear or electric vehicles, nuclear-powered vehicles, not really practical unless you're living inside a city where you can get access to an extension cord easily. Out here in the country, rural America, I'm sorry, they're just setting aside the cost and the toxic heavy metals required to make these things. Just not really practical. Skywatch TV's virtual conference, Countering the Darkness, still on. You can still get access, instant access for 90 days to 24 cutting-edge presentations, and as a free bonus, all 6 Skywatch Films documentaries. Details and registration at DefenderConference.com. That's DefenderConference.com. Skywatch TV this week featuring End Times experts Terry James and Jonathan Brentner as we discuss what is ahead. Is there a cosmic countdown clock that is counting down the days to the apocalypse? Don't miss these programs. You'll find the first of the series available right now at skywatchtv.com. All of our video content is always there. You can also find it on our broadcast schedule for the over-the-air broadcast, skywatchtv.com/channels. Grace the Rescue Dog letting us know that Amazon is now here to make a delivery. Thank you, Grace. You can also watch it right now, the Skywatch TV channels on Roku or Apple TV, rumble.com/SkywatchTV, or of course our free mobile app, which guarantees we never get canceled. Download all of our content to your smartphone or tablet, cast it to your smart TV using Google's Chromecast or Apple's AirPlay, and you'll find links to the app stores for iOS, Android, and Amazon Kindle Fire devices at our website, skywatchtv.com/app. Next week, Sharon and I will be in Israel. This is our arm-in-arm solidarity mission to Israel. We'll be reporting on the ground from sites in Israel, including some attacked on October 7th by Hamas. While we're away, we appreciate your prayers, and there may be a couple of days where we're not able to file reports. So our thanks to Joe Artis Horn at Skywatch TV for allowing us the freedom to make this trip. Again, we will bring you what we see on special reports each day next week here on 5 and 10. Meanwhile, have a blessed weekend, and thank you for watching as we keep watch. I'm Derek Gilbert. This is 5 and 10 from Skywatch TV.